The fight to save the Purbeck ambulance car is being ramped up by campaigners. The CCG and South West Ambulance Service say they're reviewing provision for the area, but that nothing will change until after a consultation. A petition against the possible cut to the emergency service has gathered almost 8,000 signatures. Laura Rowan from Swanage started a coronavirus community response page on Facebook and is involved in trying to save it.
It's really the whole community that are asking for this service to be retained, and obviously that's really well demonstrated. If you walk through our town or you drive through our town, you will see posters all over the place. People are really passionate about this.
We'll start today, and our top story on the show this morning is from Swanage, where campaigners fighting to save the Purbeck ambulance car say they still don't know if its future is even up for discussion. The CCG and South West Ambulance Service say they're conducting a review and nothing will change until after a consultation with stakeholders, the Town Council and residents. A petition against the possible cuts gathered almost 8,000 signatures, and large posters and banners have appeared across Purbeck in the last few weeks. We can talk to our reporter Tristan Pascoe, who's well across this story and joins me on the line now. Tristan, as always, just remind us of the background to this.
Yeah, morning, Steve. This is an ongoing review of ambulance provision provided across Dorset by the CCG and South West Ambulance Service. Now, the campaigners fear that means the local paramedic response car will be cut as part of any reorganisation. The Swanage Town Council passed a motion, Steve, 6 weeks ago, calling on the CCG, South West Ambulance and Richard Drax MP for South Dorset to meet them and clarify if that ambulance car may be lost. They've not had confirmation of the plan, so they say they're in a kind of limbo, frightened about losing a service they say saves 400 people a year by getting them to hospital. Part of the fear that we discovered ad infinitum during the campaign against the reorganisation of Poole A&E is the fear that people in Swanage and Purbeck are particularly out on a limb geographically. It's not easy to get to emergency treatment in hospitals in Poole or Bournemouth during the peak tourism season. With a blue light ambulance, a car will be quicker. Locally based ambulance car can get patients to hospital quickly. Laura Rowan from Swanage started a local community response page on Facebook at the start of the pandemic. She's also more recently started a petition to get Richard Drax MP to step up and help them in their campaign. She told me that local people have really rallied to try and save this emergency response car.
I think the most important thing is that it has been completely cutting across political, social, generational lines. It's really the whole community that are asking for this service to be retained. And obviously that's really well demonstrated. If you walk through our town or you drive through our town, you will see posters all over the place. People are really passionate about this.
That's Laura Rowan there. We'll be back with Tristan in just a mo. But let's talk to Debby Monkhouse, who's a Swanage Town Councillor and member of Defend Dorset NHS. She's been on the show many times before. Joins me now. Morning, Debbie.
Morning, Steve.
Good to have you there. Just explain what it is about this ambulance car that best serves the Purbecks where they wouldn't be served by other sorts of ambulance provision.
I think there's two issues really. One is that there's just a shortage of ambulances. So I think it's about 5 weeks ago now, but it's a frequent occurrence. Someone fell off a ladder, broke 2 vertebrae and waited 5 hours for any ambulance response to arrive at all. The other issue is although the car will on occasion take people to hospital, generally it doesn't leave Purbeck. So it's more a matter of being local so that when an urgent response is needed, the car is nearly always the first on the scene and can do things like stabilise life until the ambulance can come. So we'll be almost 30 miles from hospital care once Poole, A&E and maternity go. So having something that can get to us quickly and at least protect life until we can get to hospital is absolutely crucial.
Yeah. And why are you so worried about its future? Because the CCG, who are kind of in charge of the NHS purse strings locally, say this service won't change until there's been a consultation with various stakeholders. So, this decision seems like it's still a ways off yet for you to have this much support for the retention of this service.
Well, this won't be the first time that the clinical commissioning group, they usually engage with us when they're intending to cut something. Otherwise, they wouldn't be engaging with us. So that's one of the worries about it. But the other one is that although they're saying that no decision has been made, when we've actually said the town council has gone back to ask, well, is retention of the car an option that will be on the table? We haven't had any response from them, and that's been going on for a matter of weeks now, and the town council have been back again, and we've still had no confirmation that retaining the service will be one of the options on the table.
So you're saying that the CCG are quite quiet at the moment. Similar story from the South Dorset MP who you're trying to enlist to support your cause.
Yes, that's absolutely right. We met with Richard Drax on the 11th of December, and my understanding then was that we would be meeting regularly, at least 3 monthly, but we haven't actually met with him since. And obviously we do need his voice to be added to ours. We need him to stand up for our community. We would like him to get the response from the CCG that we haven't had, to at least confirm that the ambulance car is going to be one of the options on the table when they engage with us.
Let me just go back to Tristan for comments there, because Tristan, we've approached both the CCG and Richard Drax, the South Dorset Conservative MP, about this. What have they had to say to us?
Well, the CCG say they are exploring options that best meet the needs of the local population. This is the ongoing review of provision. They say they know how important the vehicle is to the community in Purbeck, but they say no changes will be made to the existing service until, quotes, we've had the opportunity to engage and work with local stakeholders and representatives. South Dorset MP Richard Drax told me he supports the ambulance car being retained. He doesn't know the full scope of the ongoing review of service provision in Purbeck, and indeed says he hasn't been told one way or another if retaining the car is an option on the table. But he says he's been assured by South West Ambulance and the CCG that nothing will change until after that consultation or engagement event with stakeholders, and says he won't comment further until after that exercise has taken place, Steve.
Okay, Tristan, thank you. A couple of things then, Debbie. First of all, to those statements, I mean, presumably you would like your local MP to get involved in this as much and as early as possible, because of those reasons you explained, that, you know, if it comes to it and this is presented as a fait accompli almost, then it'll be too late at that point to protest to try to maintain this service.
That's exactly right, Steve. I mean, what is the point in meeting after we found out that the service may be lost? And it does sound like a form of what, you know, misleading words here. I mean, the idea that we needn't worry because nothing will change till after they engage with us, but they won't tell us that retention of the car is even on the table. I mean, all they seem to be saying is we're not taking it away just yet. This is, I mean, I believe you're going to have someone on later, after 8, I think. One of the residents here, who's one of the 400 a year people here where the car comes out and it is a matter of life and death, whose life has been saved by the paramedic in the ambulance car.
Yeah, we're going to talk to Kevin Egan about that after 8 this morning. And that's your concern, is it, Debbie, that just finally, that if this provision is removed from the Purbecks, then lives will be lost?
There's no question that lives will be lost, Steve. And I just say this quickly. The Clinical Commissioning Group made a minuted promise to Dorset Council in 2018 that with the loss of services from Poole, the ambulance resources here would be fully maintained. If we can't believe a minuted promise to Dorset Council, what can we believe?
Really good to talk to you. Debby Monkhouse, live with us on BBC Radio Solent. She's a Swanage Town Councillor and a member of Defend Dorset NHS. You heard from our reporter Tristan Pascoe. Well, we wanted to get a sense of the impact that this ambulance car has had on people's lives. And Kevin Egan can speak to that. He runs a guest house in Swanage and was a very keen runner until a major event 3 years ago. Kevin, good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
Really good to talk to you. Tell me what happened 3 years ago. This car saved your life.
Yes, absolutely. Literally, it's almost 3 years to the day where I woke up. My normal routine was to get up, get my running kit on, take my son to school, and then run across the coastal path, do my sort of 10-mile daily run. And this particular morning, I had a bad twitching in my left hand and in my thumb, and I couldn't actually do my running shoes up. So my wife, in her wisdom, decided to sort of say I shouldn't go running, and I should take the morning off, which I took her advice and I did, and I went off to work. But by sort of 11 o'clock, I was sort of gradually losing the use of my left hand, the grip in my left hand. But so I came home lunchtime for a cup of tea, and by that time I had complete numbness in my left arm. No other symptoms whatsoever, no facial signs, nothing.
Yeah.
And basically we phoned the doctor's surgery to try and get an appointment to pop in and see them. They were too busy. And it just so happened that Martin Proton, the rapid response paramedic, was in the surgery, and he decided off his own back to come down and visit me and check me over. And it was his sort of determination to stay with me and continue to check me. And then my wife sort of said, well, he's got these headaches. And then Martin said that we were going to hospital, we were going now, and it was going to be quick. And literally within 2 minutes, we were in the rapid response car on our way, Blues and Twos, to Poole A&E. And when I arrived at Poole A&E, I was met by a full crash team. And on the way, obviously, to hospital, he had been organising this entire event. And it was just the speed and his determination and his skill that saved my life that day. And I got to Poole. I was in intensive care for 2 days, and I've made almost a full recovery as a direct result of the rapid response car and Martin's actions. Brilliant. It saved my life that day.
Yeah. The upshot of it was that thumb numbness and then the hand going, it was all a stroke. And clearly, I don't know if Martin, hearing you talking to the GP surgery, thought, maybe that's what it is, or what happened there.
I don't know. It's obviously he was there. It was, I was blessed that day by him being in the surgery, and I didn't know he was coming to knock my door. When he knocked the door to come and see me, I was actually quite annoyed. I thought, I'm wasting your time. Why are you coming to visit me? There's more important things. But he just would not leave. He was determined to check me over, and it was, I owe that service and that rapid response car and Martin my life. I really do. And to lose that service out of Purbeck would be devastating.
Well, talk to me about that then. So I don't know if in your particular case or others that you've heard about, what is the problem? Because there's an ambulance service. Is it just that, say, on Swanage you are so far away from where those ambulances are based?
Well, we're effectively a cul-de-sac, and during the obviously the busy times, we run a guest house. During the busy times of the season, to get across the ferry is an absolute nightmare. Yeah. During the sort of seasonal times, and then to drive around via Corfe Castle can be terrible, especially if you're driving up through that sort of busy time, in the middle of the afternoon or in the summer holidays. It's always busy, and without a rapid response car, I'll give you another quick example. A friend of ours had to call the ambulance the other night for an incident. It took 2 hours for an ambulance to arrive. Oof. 2 hours, whereas the rapid response car for me was there in minutes, and I was in Poole Hospital in probably under 20 minutes. Yeah, and that's a huge difference.
This is maybe going out on a limb a little here, Kevin, but we've spoken about changes to the NHS locally in the past, and I know that there was a big campaign to keep some provisions at Poole Hospital that have moved to Bournemouth because of the proximity, relatively speaking, to Swanage and other bits of the Purbecks. Are you feeling, with this ambulance car being scrutinised now, like there's a risk of Purbeck not being considered as a special case, and should it, given its cul-de-sac, to use your term, status, should it be considered as a special case?
Absolutely, it should, because not only are we an increasing town, because all through Swanage at the moment, there's lots of housing developments going on. There's lots more people coming into the town, and we need this service, because the ambulance service just doesn't have the capacity to be here. I don't want to get politically involved. I don't think you can put a price on saving someone's life. My life is what it is, but to put a value on it, how can you? Anybody's life. And to sort of talk about cutting a service that saves lives to this degree, where we are so sort of rural and so cut off, I think it's just madness.
Really good to talk to you this morning, Kevin. How are you looking for the guest house this summer? Are you fully booked yet?
Yeah, looking good. Bookings are coming in thick and fast, which is amazing. So yeah, we're looking forward to getting going. It's been a long sort of time closed, but there's people a lot worse off than us.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, we're looking forward to. We live in an amazing place.
We'll stay in touch. Kevin Egan runs a guest house in Swanage, had his life, in his words, saved by the Swanage ambulance, the Purbeck ambulance car.